Damon, what did I tell you about putting your hands on Simone Hicks? And Nate and Keisha are giving everything. BFF goes. What's good, y'all? It's your good sis Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another All-American Homecoming video. Listen, I am so glad you are watching All-American Homecoming. If you just stumbled across this video, you need to go ahead and be watching All-American Homecoming because it is giving. And then on top of what it's giving extra. It's literally doing overtime in reference to storytelling, character development, overall dopeness. So you should really be tuned in, locked in. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. We about to get into episode 3 from season 1 of All-American Homecoming. If you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now because I promise you about to love this video, and you also going to love the tribe. We have the best conversations about the All-American universe right here on Erica Vane TV, and you don't want to miss out. So go ahead, hit the subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications, and join the tribe. Okay, last night I had a special surprise for my amazing tribe as I brought on Cory Hardrict, who plays Coach Marcus Turner in All-American Homecoming. I brought him on to the live to have a conversation with me, answer some of y'all's questions, and really just talk about the show. And as I mentioned, you're gonna want to be a part of the tribe because you don't miss out on stuff like that. All right, I definitely have so much more in store. I thoroughly enjoy creating this amazing content around this phenomenal show with y'all because the community is so important to me, and you guys are definitely a big portion of my content creation process. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the epicness that was episode 3. The episode opens with Simone crushing her goal of hitting under a 7-minute mile and getting celebrated by the team. They actually give her shoes and a bag, probably her uniform, to welcome her on the team, and this is just to signify how great she's actually doing. And then we get a quick moment of Thea looking on like a hater, and before we actually get through the episode, you would think that she was hating on Simone because of her, you know, achieving certain things on the tennis team. But after we go through and watch the episode, you can go back and rewatch the scene and really understand what Thea is hating on, and it is that everyone is starting to rally around Simone and has created kind of like a sisterhood or a support system with her. You can see that they actually really like her, and the biggest thing for Thea as we learn more about her character in this episode is that she is alone and nobody really has befriended her, and this is something that has made her resentful. Now, I don't want to be that girl, but I'm gonna go ahead and be that girl because I told y'all Thea was given all types of lonely pretty girl syndrome, and I knew that at the core of what her hating that was happening with Simone was, it was just because she doesn't actually have friends. So one, she doesn't know how to befriend somebody. She doesn't really know how to be nice because she doesn't feel welcome or engaged with in that way. And then ultimately, the longer that she has spent on the outskirts of social circles, the harder and more rough and more mean she has become as her resentment has built. But in this episode, we start to see Simone crack the ice on Iceberg Thea, and I think that we could probably see a beautiful blossoming best friendship arise eventually when it comes to these two. Now, sticking specifically to the top of the episode, when we see Simone doing really well, that is juxtaposed with Damon, whose team has just lost, and he's trying to figure out what he can do to help lift his team morale. He is entering in the conversation the idea of sponsorships and maybe them getting new equipment and getting an infusion of cash that could really help them rebrand the team and create a new level of motivation to try to will himself as well as his teammates into a better headspace, so hopefully they can continue working hard and start to win games. Now, before I get into Damon, because he has a very interesting arc in this episode, I do want to finish up with Miss Queen Thea. Okay, so Thea's birthday is this episode, and Simone goes out of her way to try to create a birthday party for her. However, nobody shows up because nobody likes Thea, and this is how we learn of the fact that Thea is actually alone and how kind of abandoned she feels. We also learn that her parents donated the tennis facilities and she feels like people only engage with her because of that fact, and just really get a better understanding of how alone she is. She didn't want to not come to the birthday or didn't want Simone to shut down the birthday because she don't like birthdays. It's just because she know that people don't rock with her. But it's all good now because by the end of the episode, you coming to family dinner and we rock with you. Well, not only are you coming to family dinner, but we also going to have a nice little birthday moment with this pole class because you said that you wanted to get your pole dancing on. So, you know, Keisha gonna make that happen for you. All right, now going back to Mr. Sims. Mr. Sims, who I really, y'all, don't want to admit it, but I am starting to like. But I will never, and I do mean never, like him romantically for Simone. Okay? Team Jermone for life. Faux life. Gang, gang. Okay. But anyway, in this episode, we get to see a less confident Damon and a more like loving son that just wants to be supported, a concerned teammate that really wants to put his shine on his teammates versus himself, as well as a little bit of an insecure guy when Simone actually has a conversation with him about the fact that she don't believe that his mother has changed overnight, and he gets really, really annoyed with her and kind of storms off. I'm like, okay, Damon, you better give me these levels, because up until now you have been given arrogance, you have been given I'm supposed to be a pro baller, you have given y'all should be lucky to be my friends and walk in my air, but now it's starting to give you actually need validation, you actually need support, you actually need this community that is starting to be fostered. And I ain't gonna hold you, I am really excited to see their platonic friendship, the way that Damon and Simone show up for each other at school, both being new collegiate athletes from out of town at this new HBC or at this HBCU, both having these very new experiences, dealing with their parental drama and trauma, dealing with each of their own personal baggage from the past, and that coming together. I think it is playing out beautifully on screen. So again, I am here for their platonic friendship. If you missed it, I did do a video on Damon versus Jordan, so go ahead and check that out. I think I put my foot in that video, but y'all can let me know what y'all think about that discussion over on that video. Now, I mentioned Damon and his mama and his insecurity around that. Damon actually fires his mother as his official manager or whatever, because in this episode, when he comes up with the idea to try to get sponsorships for the team, because y'all know collegiate athletes now can get sponsorships and get paid to endorse different things and make money off of their likeness as collegiate athletes now, he decides to put together or reach out to people, and then he's falling flat, right? His mother gets wind of it because some of the sponsors reach out to her, and then she comes down to the school and tells him that she's going to help him make this happen, when in fact she means that she's going to try to make it happen for him and bump these teammates. Once Damon actually figures this out, he gets very pissed off and is forced to fire her because he's disappointed in how she's actually moving, and he confronts the idea that they don't actually have a solid mother-son relationship. They literally have a business relationship, and he doesn't actually want that anymore, especially in the way that it's been operating. When the sponsors show up, he actually takes it upon himself to take the spotlight off of himself and bring his teammates up to speak so that they can sell themselves to the sponsors, even though nothing really comes of it. Shout out to Coach Turner, because ultimately he calls in a few favors, he reaches out to a few people, and they're able to get something by the end of this. But that whole ordeal with the sponsors not necessarily wanting to buy into all the team and then gaslighting some of them at the program is really the thing that put the battery in Damon's back and made him confront his mother of like, yeah, this is not okay. I'm very curious to see where Damon and his mother's relationship is going to go. This iteration of her character is different than the one that they established, because I really didn't think that his mother would back down so easily. She pretty much immediately, when he confronts her, says that she's sorry and that she's going to do whatever it is that he wants. And her as a character has been given very much so, I hear you, son, but no. So I'm wondering if she's actually going to go along with it, or if she's just going to do whatever she can to make him believe that she's going along with it, while she continues to conspire to put together his career in a way that she best see fit. Now, I mentioned Coach Turner, who also gets additional context to his character in this episode by way of Auntie Amara revealing that she and Coach Turner had a pass to Simone. Yes, this is what we came to see. Y'all, I am working on a video of who parents are Amara and Coach Turner, because we all have theories, we all have guesses, and I have a few thoughts that will be in a separate video. If you have yet to subscribe, you go ahead and need to subscribe, because you need to know the moment that I post that video, because we got some things to talk about. We got to get to the bottom of this, okay? But in this episode, we learn that about them, as also we get to see one of Amara's previous students is hitting on her when he comes back to speak to the class, offering her a position at this newspaper that he's working at, but then also being overly friendly, which ultimately by the end of the episode turns into a freelance opportunity where she may potentially expose the school for lack of funding or misappropriations of funds, after Coach Turner gets to the bottom of the fact that she's not the only one with her tenure being put on hold, but all of the professors are. Now, when they talk about tenure and all that, y'all, if every professor is having their tenure put on hold, I feel like there's some financial problems happening within the institution, and that institution might be struggling to keep accreditation. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. That is definitely something that could be looming. As soon as I heard them say that, the first thing I thought about was the HBCU Bethune-Cookman. I believe that they lost accreditation at some point, but then had to gain it back. Yes, I just looked it up, y'all, and it says that Bethune-Cookman has recently, I think this was in 2020, learned that it's going to maintain its accreditation nearly 2 years after the private school was put on probation concerning their accreditation due to the governance and financial suitability. So I definitely think that Brinkston could be struggling, probably having mismanagement of funds. President Zeke, what you doing with the money, bro? Because something is actually going on and it's a little fishy, and Auntie Amara is going to be the one to out it once she figures out what's going on. Auntie Amara only learns about the other professors having their tenure consideration being put on hold because Coach Turner don't play, and while he was confronting President Zeke about wanting to take the sponsorships that these boys have secured, he also threw in there, what are you doing when it comes to Amara? Why are you playing around with her tenure consideration? And then he lets it leak that, oh no, it's all the professors. And one thing that I love is that Coach Turner don't seem to play about Auntie Amara. Y'all mentioned it in the chat last night when we were live. Shout out to everybody who goes live with me every Monday night after the episodes premiere so that we could chop it up. If you missed it, the rewatch is available for you. And I also did an interview with Coach Marcus Turner, or the guy who plays him, Cory Hardrict, as a surprise to you amazing subbies. I had him pop on live with us last night. Again, subscribe and you don't want to miss this content because your good sis E is coming with it. But Coach Turner does not play about Auntie Amara, and with a little bit of hints in the conversation I had with Cory last night, we can definitely expect more to come out about their past, as well as us seeing more happen between them in the future. By the end of the episode, we get to see he comes over to family dinner with them. He seems very comfortable, very cute with Amara. There's a scene where JR is actually looking over into the kitchen at Coach Turner, Amara, and Damon, and it's giving family vibe. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more when it comes to Coach Turner and Auntie Amara, as well as Coach Turner and how he's going to continue to make a stand on that campus and not settle for cheating, not settle for stealing, not settle for anything that is not actually above board. Coach Turner is literally that guy who is about maintaining ethics and morality and is not going to try to take advantage or exploit anyone, let alone his students and his players. And if he sees you doing it, you got problems with him as well. That's really why him and Auntie Amara get along so well, because they really don't play about their students. They don't play about these ethics. So y'all better go ahead and get with it or get lost. And the other, to me, most important storyline that we saw play out, or at least spark in this episode, was the one with Nate. Okay, we are getting a little bit more into her backstory. There's a confrontation with another resident within the residence hall, Walinda, whatever. Girl, you wiggity whack, honey. She has a problem with the fact that Nate has her own room, her own bathroom, and is seemingly getting preferential treatment by Keisha because Keisha is an RA. She winds up revealing that Nate only got this room because of Keisha, and regardless, she got it. That's it, that's all. Not only do we have a moment where Simone has to check Walinda about misgendering Nate, but then also she continues to spiral and wants to file these formal complaints about Nate, and it's really just giving negative, disrespectful energy as if Nate is unwanted in this space, and I hate that for her. Girl, you shouldn't be embarrassed. You should really be embarrassed, honey, because you're whack. And I love that Nate by the end was able to come up with some evidence of her breaking rules, sneaking her boyfriend into her room, and that is the thing that put a stop to her for now, because she is a reoccurring character, so we are going to see her again, unfortunately, and I definitely think that she's going to continue to have hate in her heart. But for the purposes of this episode, Nate was able to shut her down with those receipts and get her to retract her little complaint, but her interaction in this episode still brought into question what's actually happening around Nate and what Keisha's doing to try to protect her. So I loved the conversation that Nate had with Keisha. She literally sits down and says, I thank you and I love you for wanting to protect me and be my Keisha shield. However, I need to be exposed to whatever is happening, because this is just a micro version of what it's going to be like when I actually enter the world. And while I appreciate you wanting to shield me from it, this is where I get my practice now, standing up for myself, not taking no in a addressing the things as they come to be. Even with gathering with Landa, Nate totally kept it cute. And by the end, she was like, just so you know, we're gonna be friends by the end of this. So it wasn't even on no animosity or enemy types of stuff. Nate knows, like Nathaniel knows that she's clearly misguided, she's clearly confused, she's clearly jealous, and that's all stuff for her to carry and negative within her spirit. Nate's spirit is just so beautiful and so pure that she can't even conjure up those same reciprocal feelings. She's just like, okay girl, you coming to me with this mess, but at some point you're gonna love me, and at that point that's when we're gonna be friends, and that's really just gonna be the end of it. There's no other way, there's no other option. And I'm just like, I want to be like Nate when I grow up, because I be trying to match people's petty sometimes, and that's not necessarily what we supposed to do. Y'all, we need to be more like Nate, because you giving mama. I love it. I have been wanting to see more of her character. She's always given a look. Face card is everything. Like, I love everything about Nate as a character, and the fact that we got a little bit of her journey and her struggles in this episode, I was over the moon, floored, and just loved it. Okay, obsessed, utterly obsessed. And shout out to Keisha for being a real one and has Nate's back to the moon and back. Okay, and shout out to Nate for checking Simone for a second too, because Nate is the one that got Simone to realize that she was overstepping when it came to Thea, and that she wasn't actually listening to the people who she said that she cared about and what they wanted. And while she was also trying to protect and support and just give all of this stuff, she also has to realize what they want comes into play as well, not just what you want for somebody. Y'all, All American Homecoming last night literally did not disappoint. They are bringing it every single episode, and if you haven't caught up yet, you need to go ahead and do so. Episode 3 was nothing short of amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now it is your turn. Let me know in the comment section down below, what did you think about the episode? How are you feeling about the characters and their journeys? What are you expecting to come soon? Let me know all of that and more, and I will be sure to reply to you in the comments. If you made it all the way to the end of this video and you didn't subscribe just yet, go ahead and do it now. Nobody gonna judge you, boo. Go ahead, click the subscribe button, and make sure that you like the video before you head on to watch another video, because I have so much All American content. You can go ahead and get your binge on. This is gonna be your treat for the day. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.